The views and opinions on this show are for entertainment purposes only. The only factual information is any story that has happened to AT2 or the parties involved. Other than that, go ahead and get you a drink, get you something to eat, just relax and enjoy the show. Let's have fun. All right, y'all, let's get real. What's up, everybody? I guess I'm going to have to do the replay thing. Well, most of you will catch the replay. I know it's late at night, but I wanted to kind of talk about this now. For those of you who don't know, Britney Spears did like a 22-minute audio talking about her conservatorship, and then she deleted it. But of course, everybody recorded it before she deleted it. So we're going to go ahead and listen to the audio and just break it down. Because of copyright, I will have to stop, pause, and give commentary and stuff like that. So I do just want to warn y'all from the beginning, like, yes, we are going to stop and pause, stop and pause, stop and pause. So I just wanted to make that clear for those of y'all out there. But what's up, everybody? How everybody doing? How everybody living? How everybody feeling? Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share this video. All that good stuff. Oh, and also hit the notification bell as well too. It seems like that unsubscribing and subscribing thing, that don't work. Somebody asked me about that. And I was all like, don't do that. It don't work. Just don't do the unsubscribe, subscribe. It don't matter what you do. YouTube will give you notifications to shit they want to give you notifications to. End of story. So let's go ahead and get into the audio. Let me just wait for a few more people to come on in the room. Let me play a little commercial. Hold on, we'll be right back.
Monica, this is for you, baby. Miss Bojangles herself, allegedly. I know you're just an avatar, but baby, you fine as heck. Yeah, I know you're just an avatar, but baby girl, you wear it real well, Monica. You are the finest, yeah. Baby girl, they pressed to find ya, yeah. You might be a Grand Theft Auto character, yeah. Monica, avatar, but baby girl, you fine as heck. Yeah, I know you just an avatar, but baby girl, you wear it well, Monica. You are the finest, yeah. Baby girl, they pressed to find ya.
All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get on with the audio. Here we go. You ready?
I realized that
put a one in the chat if you can hear it.
On in my head that I haven't really shared with
anyone. It's kind of low for me. Hold on.
And I've had tons of opportunities, Oprah interviews, to go on a platform and share hardships and or just really anything that's going on in my mind. And I really don't think any of that is relevant to getting paid to tell your story. I feel like it's kind of silly. So I'm here honestly just to open myself to others and try to shed a light on if anyone out there has ever gone through hardships or whatever it is, just to put a light on it. And so that person doesn't feel alone, because I really know what that feels like. I haven't honestly.
Okay, so before we continue, I do want to say I found it interesting that she said she didn't want to go to Oprah or get paid for her story. So that lets you know that she ain't desperate for money and trying to do all this for money, or try to have somebody tell her story. She can do it on her own, basically, what she was saying. This is the reason why she put this out on YouTube. Now, for the reason why she took it down, we don't know that, but that's here nor there. Let's go ahead and continue.
Shared this openly too as well, because I've always been scared of the judgment and definitely the embarrassment of the whole thing, period, and the skepticism and the cynical people of what and their opinions of what people would actually think. I do think I'm in a place now where I'm a little bit more confident that I can be willing to share openly my thoughts and what I've been through, because I haven't really had that outlet to share completely openly for so long, just scared of judgments, thoughts of other people and what they think or what they may say. And I think it's crucial for my heart and my head to be able to speak openly about it as if anyone else would. Well, the actual conservatorship actually started, I think, 15 to 16 years ago. I was 25 when it started. I was extremely young. I remember a lot of my friends texting me and calling me, and we were extremely close, and they wanted to see me, but by what had happened, honestly, still to this day, don't know what really I did, but the punishment of my father, I wasn't able to, see anyone or like anything. So, and you have to imagine none of it made sense to me. I literally spoke in a British accent to a doctor to prescribe my medication, and 3 days later, there was a swap team in my home.
Now, I was wondering, she said that she spoke in a British accent so they can prescribe her medicine or whatever. So I was wondering about that. Like, was she told to speak in a British accent, or was she playing it up like to make them seem like, oh, I'm crazy or whatnot? So I was wondering about that. She didn't really clarify, like somebody told her to, or she did that so she could get her medication. But let's go back to the audio, y'all. And yes, if you're just joining, like I said, I have to stop it in between for copyright. So I have to stop it, stop it, play it, and give commentary.
3 helicopters. And I remember my mom's best friend and my 2 girlfriends. We had a sleepover the night before. They held me down on a gurner. And again, none of it made sense. Literally, the extent of my madness was playing chess with, when it was playing chase with paparazzi, which is still to this day one of the most fun things I ever did about being famous. So I don't know what was so harmful about that. But I remember.
So it seems right there, Brittany is saying like, she was, doing, she was messing around with the paparazzi and stuff like that. To her, she didn't see anything wrong, like, because what we were told in the media was that she had a mental breakdown, and so that's when they had to strap her on the gurney, and then that's when they sent her off to the psych ward, or I don't know the proper term, but that's where they sent her. So it was weird that she said, well, I really don't know why all of a sudden I was strapped down to the gurney and they sent me off, or why I was put in this conservatorship. So it has me thinking either one, she's in denial, or two, this was like a setup to make her seem like she was out of her mind and to get her money, basically. So I found that interesting. Let's go ahead and go back to the clip.
Where my mom was sitting on the couch and she said, "We've heard people are coming here today to talk to you. We should probably go, to a hotel or something." And I never really understood what she meant. I didn't believe her. Like, as a lawyer coming here? Who is coming here? Then 4 hours later, there were over 200 paparazzi outside my house videotaping me through a window of an ambulance, holding me down on a gurner. I know now it was all premeditated. A woman introduced the idea to my dad, and my mom actually helped him follow through. and made it all happen. It was all basically set up. There was no drugs in my system, no alcohol, nothing. It was pure abuse. And I haven't even really shared even half of it.
There we go. There we go. She said it was all a setup right there. Like there was no drugs, no alcohol in her system. And some friend told them what to do and how to go about this to get basically control of her. So it was a money thing.
I think the main thing I do remember when it started was my dad's control. He loved to control everything I did. I remember the first day he said, "I'm Britney Spears and I'm calling the shots." And I'm like, alrighty then. My brother was a football player. My dad was really, really hard on him when he was younger, really abusive. And I think when my mom gave him the idea for the conservatorship and his friend, I think he just really like regrouped it and made such a really, really overhauling big deal out of it. And it was just really too much. I remember him always being in the office, and my girlfriend was his assistant, and they would just stay in there all day with the door shut. And I was never ever able to leave or go anywhere. My first job after the 2 weeks of being hospitalized and completely traumatized out of my mind, I did a TV show called How I Met Your Mother. And then I started working on an album called Circus, and started working away right away. All I do remember is I had to do what I was told. I was told I was fat every day. I had to go to the gym. I had to just, and I never remember feeling so demoralized and just, they made me feel like nothing. And I went along with it because I was scared. I was scared and fearful. I didn't even really do anything. And I had like a swap team and how, like, none of it made sense to me. So since that day, I did probably 4.5 tours. I did an album, Circus, Femme Fatale.
Okay, before we continue, I do want to say it was weird how she said, like, I didn't understand what was going on or what happened. So, you know, what I'm trying to figure out is because, and I did listen to this audio, but what was the reason that they gave her for all of this? Because, you know, and again, I still kind of think like, okay, is she trying to get us on her side, or she really doesn't know, like, what explanation did they give her, like why she's in this conservatorship, why she has to do all these different things? Like she just basically went along with it, you know? Yeah, there's somebody, if I'm a grown ass man and, you know, my parents have control of everything that I do, from where do I go, I'm not allowed to do certain things, and I'm grown, I'm gonna have a few questions. I ain't just gonna go along with anything. So we're still trying to figure out that part.
Britney Jean and Glory. And then I started doing a Vegas show in Las Vegas. And I did that for 4.5 years. I do remember working, and I got to a point where, you know, because my pride in my 30s, I have to live under my father's rules. And, you know, the dancers are playing and drinking and having fun at nights in Vegas, and I couldn't do anything. And I remember just being like, my performances, I know, were horrible. Like, I even wore wigs, and all the dancers were doing all these nice, sexy head flip turns, and I had conditioner treatment in my hair and like these little caps over my head, and just during a whole show getting conditioner treatments just with wigs on, because I was just like a robot. Honestly, I didn't give a fuck anymore, because
You know what? That's a common criticism because, like, you know, you see Britney from when she got in that conservatorship, it seemed like she was like a robot, like she wasn't even human. Like I think it was Mina who I was talking to when we were talking about her eyes. Even in this picture right here, her eyes look dead. Like literally, there's nothing going on in her brain. Like her eyes look dead almost. I know that's a weird thing to say, but she just never looked like herself after that conservatorship. It was like, damn, what did these people do to this woman? It's crazy thinking about it. And so, you know, seeing her dancing, trying to sing and the lip sync and everything, it always just seemed so off. Like she was going through a routine. And when you're used to a routine, like, yes, you can do it now, whether or not you like what you're doing, repetition, you're always able to repeat the same steps, do the same thing. So she's literally just moving like a robot. She's not even herself. And by the way, no, I'm not a psychologist.
I couldn't go where I wanted to go. I couldn't have the nannies that I wanted to have. I couldn't have cash. And it was just demoralizing. So I was kind of like in this conspiracy thing of people claiming and like treating me like a superstar, but yet they treated me like nothing. Well, for some reason, I started to get a spark back. I remember recording Glory, and for some reason, I think producing and making music. And I went to this little Spanish house, and I got the fire back in my eyes for some reason. And it was at the end of recording Glory, and my son named it. And things started kind of taking a turn because I started getting more confidence just for myself. And I think with confidence, people kind of like, oh, wait, what's going on now? Like she's speaking up a little bit more, but it might not be particularly a good thing if I'd been quiet for 15 years. I think with confidence comes enlightenment, which makes you think better. And that's the last thing they wanted me to do, is to actually be better. Because then.
So I'm gonna pause it right there. So it seems that, once she started getting her confidence back and when she started speaking up, they noticed like, oh, something's going wrong. Like something's up with this. And that's true. It's like when she gained her confidence, she got enlightenment, and then that's when they started to be all like, okay, she know a little bit too much, or she's able to speak up. Because before, it didn't seem like she was speaking up for herself, or she wasn't saying anything, and nobody else was speaking for her either. And we're going to get into that as well too. Let me go ahead and continue the audio.
Who would be in control then? But it was really tricky because I had to just play this role that everything was okay all the time, and I had to go along with it because I knew they could hurt me. So I'm sitting here like my friends all drinking alcohol and having fun in these parties and had no cash. I literally felt like a nun. My girlfriends from home came to visit me in a spa, and I couldn't even walk into the spa, and they had their feet doing pedicures in the water and the 3 ices of bottles of champagnes before my show just sitting there. And I wasn't even acknowledged by them, my own hometown friends, when they would come to Vegas. And it was just, it was demoralizing, I will say. You also have to understand it's like, 15 years of touring and doing shows, and I'm 30 years old under my dad's rules. And all of this is going on, and my mom's witnessing this, and my brother is witnessing, and my friends are witnessing it, and they all go along with it. And I'm like, how am I the one working here and doing all this, but I don't get the side things that, the good stuff, I want to be able to play. I want to be able to have fun. Like none of it.
So that to me right there, she's basically saying like everybody else got to live their life, and she was the one out there working and making the money, but she wasn't able to play. She wasn't able to do anything. That's real sad. And she said, her friends came out of town and to see her show, champagne bottles and everything, and they didn't even acknowledge her. Like, damn. But here's my thing, like, where was her? Now, I know she said her friends came and they didn't acknowledge her, but did she have any friends that actually cared about her? Like, if I had a friend and they were Britney and I noticed like, something a little off with them, like something is wrong, I'm gonna say something, like I'm gonna be like, something seem off. I'm gonna report something. I'm gonna say something. What's up, Drea? I'm going to say something. But her friends just went along like everything was cool. Like, come on now, everybody in the press knew something wasn't right with Britney, right? All right, let's continue.
It made sense to me. Well, the last show in Vegas ended 2017. I went on tour, which of tour I was forced to do, but I was supposed to do a new show. So the new show came along. I rehearsed, I think maybe 4 days ago. I don't really remember, but I went to one of the rehearsals and I said no to a dance move. I was like, no, can we do that? I don't want to do this. And then I just remember everything got really weird and quiet, and all the directors and producers went in the back room and just spoke. And that was it. And I was like, well, I don't know what's going on. So we all just kind of like, what happened. And then the next day, I was told that had to be sent away to a facility, and that I was supposed to say on my Instagram the reason why is because my dad is sick and I need treatment, which was I didn't want to ever go there. I remember my dad calling me on the phone and I was crying, and I was like, why are you guys doing this? Like, what? And I just remember him saying, you have to listen to the doctor.
Okay, and by the way, that's her audio. That's not my audio cutting in and out. That's her audio. I did want to say something about this. So I remember she was supposed to do another tour in Vegas, the residency, and she didn't end up doing it. The funny part is that she did say it was something to do with her dad. And from the media and the reports, I remember they saying like her dad was in bad condition where how do I say this without getting demonetized? He was going to be obsolete, not living on this earth. Oh, the popular word. He was going to be unalive. I hate when people say that. I hate when they say that. And I don't mean to laugh, but he was going to be unalive. So they were saying it was really bad, but according to this, it's because she refused to do a dance move, and then they were going to send her to a facility. So instead of saying, that, they were like, oh, just say your dad is sick. It was almost like a cover up. Why is the doorbell ringing? Let me play the audio. I'm sorry.
The doctors are going to tell you what to do. I can't help you now. And I remember his last words were, now, you don't have to go, but if you don't go, we're going to go to court and there'll be a big trial and you're going to lose. I have way more people on my side than you. You don't even have a lawyer, so don't even think about it. So I did it. I went to the place. I was scared out of my mind. And none of it, again, made any sense of what they were doing to me. And again, I haven't wanted to share this because it's unbelievably offensive, sad, abusive. And honestly, would anybody believe me? I remember the main thing of when I was in that place, that my heart felt like it was frozen, like it was stuck inside. I wanted to scream and I wanted to get out. And I think by a needle and thread, it was the breathing peacefully inward that I missed the most. I felt like I was in a state of shock, almost like when an old person feels helpless and they're literally going through some sort of shock treatment and they can't relax their body because they don't have the answers of why they can't have their own keys to their car and put it in the ignition and walk outside, and their own security guards at every door saying they can't go, sitting down, drawing 6 galls of blood every week. Weak as hell, and then calling in my family.
Now I'm wondering, why did she have to give blood? Like, why? She said 6 vials of blood every week. Like, what was she giving blood for? Like, were they testing her for drugs or something like that? Because later on in the clip, she stated that she wasn't even allowed to smoke. So obviously she wasn't drinking, she wasn't doing drugs. Why did they always have to get her blood? Like, it was something else wrong with her? That part is weird to me. But let's go ahead and continue.
Is in Destin at my beach house. It didn't make sense. The main thing, I to this day, I kind of stopped believing in God at that time because I didn't know how they could have 40 people leave my house a day and me work from 8 to 6 at night. Be seen changed every time I changed in the shower. No privacy, no door, nothing. How did they get away with it? And what the fuck did I do to deserve that? I couldn't even smoke cigarettes. People on death row can smoke cigarettes. I missed my AA meetings, although I was kind of forced to go to AA. I'm not even an alcoholic. I actually enjoyed it because I thought the people were brilliant. They shared their stories just to share their story, and in a circle of women and men who just are trying to be better people and trying to touch other people.
So she went to AA and wasn't an alcoholic. Like, how do you go to AA and you're not an alcoholic? That is crazy.
This my AA meetings. I couldn't go in. I couldn't have the keys in the car, no cash, no cigarettes in the door for privacy. It changed me, watched me change it every day. I did work 7 days a week. No weekends were off. They monitored what I ate. From 8 to 6, I work. Sometimes at 9 o'clock, I'd be able to watch a movie. But finally, the owner of the whole facility that I was always texting to try to be able to go somewhere, just get out of the house, that place somehow, he had to let me go because the Free Britney campaign came out with all the pink T-shirts. I saw it on a lot of the morning shows, and people by word of mouth, and I think just by my fans knowing by heart that something was up. I remember one of the guys were on an interview on the street, and he said, "You know what? I could be totally wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'll be really, really embarrassed, and I'll just go have a drink somewhere." He said, "But I do feel like they're doing something to her right now, and I'm not sure really what it is, but that's what my heart says." But the whole thing that made it really confusing for me is these people are on the street fighting for me, but my sister and my mother aren't doing anything. To me, it was like they secretly, honestly liked me being the bad one, like I was messed up, and they kind of just liked it that way. Otherwise, why weren't
So I do want to say something right there. Going back a little bit, she did state that, they ended up letting her out that facility because they had seen the whole Free Britney campaign, and it was like, oh shit, they're catching on. And she talked about that fan that noticed, something. Well, all her fans noticed that something was wrong with her. And, I think everybody been saying like, Britney is not the same. Like something a little off with her. You could tell something was off, and it just wasn't natural. One thing and I know I'm fast forwarding, but one thing in this clip, she doesn't talk about her boyfriend or her husband now, Sam, and like where was he in all of this, and why couldn't he help her get out? That part she doesn't explain. That's still a little weird. Hey, Butterfly Kisses, thank you for coming.
they outside my doorstep saying, "Baby girl, get in the car, let's go"? I think that's the main thing that hurt me. I couldn't process how my family went along with it for so long. And I mean, almost half a year, and their only response was, "We didn't know." I'm like,
Yeah, I'm glad Brittany called them out because that sounded like some bullshit. How didn't they know what was going on? Like, come on now. Did they think that she was in like some kind of I don't even know what they would have thought. Obviously, there was something wrong with her. Come on now.
I'm on the phone telling you right now, I'm here. Please. Eventually, by the grace of God and praying on my knees, I left the place. But I was still scared. I was really, really scared. And from then on, I had support. I needed a lot of support. And I found 2 really, really great people that would come to my house weekly and just help me with my mind, because I didn't understand all the therapy that I had to do there. But why have therapy when it's forced and in like a militant, almost prison-like way that like is where you're not even all there, and none of it made sense. Well, I think my strength grew because I didn't reach out to my dad anymore. And they were playing the game of ball and twist of, she's going to come running back to us because, we've scared her and we're the bosses here. But I didn't. I just stalled and I stalled and I stalled and I stalled. I think they just knew I wasn't going back. And I finally got a lawyer. A wonderful friend finally got me a lawyer. And he really helped me through it. To me, the thing was, I think the trauma of all of it and just the whole thing together, and going down to how much effort and work and heart I put into what I did when I did work, even down to the details of how many rhinestones are going to be in my costume. And I cared so much. And they literally killed me. They threw me away. That's what I felt like my family threw me away. I was performing for like thousands of people at night in Vegas, the rush of being a performer, the laughter, the joy, the respect. I was shaking over 40 people's hands every night before a show, training weekly, 3 training sessions a week, AA meetings, therapy sessions. My dad literally, I was a machine. I was a fucking machine. Not even.
So what I'm noticing is that this girl never had any fun. Like she never was able to do anything. She was on a strict schedule. What it reminds me of, and I guess Britney technically is a child star, right? She started when she was like 16. With these child stars, they're kind of like on a repetition and they just keep going and going, dancing, performing, singing, acting, this and that. And this woman is literally grown and she's on this kind of schedule where she's not allowed to do anything. And I remember when we talked about Britney a long time ago, we were talking about conservatorships. Usually with conservatorships, they're for older people or, someone who's how do I put it, incapacitated that can't take care of themselves, and the conservatorship, if it's not an older person, it usually only lasts for like a few years, like 2 to 3 years. Like when it goes beyond, she's like 13 years, that's extreme. Like, why was she on this conservatorship for so long? And she started when she was 25. Remember, they try to say she had dementia and stuff like that. Now, I know we go back and forth whether or not Wendy Williams have dementia, but Wendy Williams is that age. Britney was only 25 when she started. What's up, McClurge? Thank you for coming.
It was insane how hard I worked. And the one
4
time
more minutes, you
I
guys.
speak up and say no in a rehearsals to a fucking dance move, they got pissed. I feel like a scare tactic in how badly they treated me in the end. I think they thought I was going to come begging back to work again because they thought, I needed them. Because they put me in an ignorant, scared state of mind to make me feel like I needed them. And if you don't do what we say, we're going to show you who's boss. I didn't play their game anymore. I got on my knees every day and I prayed. I held on like a needle and thread to some sort of existence because they had made me feel like nothing for so long. I knew in the deepest part of my core, I knew I'd done nothing wrong and I didn't deserve the way I'd been treated. I do think the hardest thing for me was I wanted to use my feet and leave and run or go somewhere. I had to be placed in a chair from like 8 to 6 every day. I couldn't take it. I talked to rabbis, I've talked to grown men about it, and they're like, we don't see how you did it. Honestly, I don't either. And through that, I remember saying, I don't believe in God anymore. I honestly deserve an award for acting like I was okay every day. I thought they were trying to fucking kill me. I remember one time I was backstage and I needed my inhaler. And I opened up to my assistant because I had my phone with me, which I'm not supposed to have my phone underneath the stage. But I said to her, you know what I'm doing.
So I wanted her to go ahead right there. She said that she didn't believe in God no more. So just imagine everything that she's going through. She felt hopeless, and I know that feeling. She felt hopeless, and that's why she said, "I didn't believe in God no more." Because how possibly could anyone go through this and there be a God? Like, what was there going to be a way out for her? She probably felt like there was no way. And let's go ahead and continue with the clip.
I was talking to a guy and he wanted to just leave the country with me. We had it all set up to just leave. And it was a secret relationship. And I said, my biggest fear was, what would my dad do if I did do something wrong? What if I left the country? What if they found me? And what would they do? And I said, I feel like they would lock me up or something or really hurt me. And she looked at me and she said, are you kidding me, Brittany? Your dad would never do that to you. And I didn't even do anything wrong, and he still did it. I'm honestly more angry at my mom because I heard when reporters would call her at the time and ask questions of what was going on, she would go innocently hide in the house, and she wouldn't speak up. It was always like, I don't know what to say. I just don't want to say the wrong thing. We're praying for her. I feel like she could have gotten me a lawyer in literally 2 seconds. My friend helped me get one in the end, but every time I made contact with a firm, my phone was tapped, and they would take my phone away from me. And again, I get nothing out of sharing all of this. I have offers to do interviews with Oprah and so many people, lots of money, but it's insane. I don't want any of it. For me, it's beyond a sit-down proper interview. I had no contact in that place for so long, and my heart would just want to stand up in my family's faces and scream and cry and throw a tantrum and go back in time and do exactly what I wanted to do at those times. Yeah, and might even spit in their fucking faces. Why? Because the pain my family gave me, sitting there all day and not being able to use my feet, is they watch their grandchildren run bases to base in a family neighborhood as if I'm dead or I don't exist. Honestly makes me look up and say, how the fuck did they get away with it? How is there a God? Is there a God? Giving 8 balls of blood weekly, not being able to stand up. I was so weak. And my family's at my beach house. I was scared, broken. I'm sharing this because I want people to know I'm only human. I do feel victimized after these experiences. And how can I mend this if I don't talk about it? I have an amazing song right now with one of the most brilliant men of our time, and I'm so grateful. But if you're a weird introvert oddball like me, who feels alone a lot of the time, and you needed to hear a story like this today so you don't feel alone, know this, my life has been far from easy, and you're not alone.
All right, that's the end right there. So, a few things. So at the end, she talked about how she wanted to run. She basically was talking to some guy in secret, and she wanted to run away. She had thoughts about getting away, and she asked her assistant, what I was thinking about, what would my dad do if I ran away? And, and she said she thinks they might hurt her or try to kill her. And the assistant was like, yeah, that's crazy, Brittany, your dad would never do that. But how do you really not know? I mean, she's been in this conservatorship for years and years and years, and ain't nobody doing nothing, ain't nobody said nothing, and she just felt trapped. A good question is like, damn, what would have happened if Britney just ran away and she tried to escape? Like, could they physically like be like, no, you have to get back here, you're not allowed to run away? Like, what would have happened if she did run away? We honestly don't know. It probably, thank God she didn't, because just thinking about that, that probably would have worked against her. Because she mentioned earlier in the video that her dad said that, well, you don't have money for a lawyer, so you're gonna go to, we're gonna go to court, this and that. So she already knew there was nothing that she could do. Her hands were basically tied in this situation. And then I started thinking about her family, her mom, and she mentioned they didn't say anything like, hey, honey, get in the car, or sweetie, get in the car. They didn't say anything about that, or trying to get her or save her. They left her there. She felt like they left her there, or they were trying to off her, and they just went along with it, which makes me think like, oh, the mama, the sister, she mentioned her brother in there, and then we all know the dad. He was getting like millions of dollars a year. So all these people are making money off of her. At the end of the day, they probably thought like, why would I say anything? I'm making money off of you. You seem fine. You still alive, so who cares about your freedom and being able to do this and that? I would have liked to hear more about like, where was Sam, her now husband? Like, where did he play a role in this? I believe her parents and others are abusive, narcissistic, who wants money only. Yeah, I believe that part. I definitely believe that. I believe that they did this all for the money. I don't think they cared about anything else but getting their money, controlling her, being able to. Because I have a feeling she probably wasn't really talking to them before the conservatorship. I wish she would have talked about that. I have a feeling she probably wasn't talking to her parents before the conservatorship, and then when everything happened, that's when they're all like, "Okay, now we got you." Because granted, if they had a good relationship, I don't think they would have ever put her in this conservatorship, or they probably would have, but not treated her like this. They treated her like she was a child. It went back to being childlike. They really chopped and broke this woman down and made her perform like it literally was a circus. You know how they treat animals in the circus and shit like that? It's horrible. They treated her like she was a circus clown, or not a circus clown. They get treated better, a circus animal. Just made her repeatedly do things. Yes, she is writing a book. I know it's coming out sometime next year. Did you guys think? I thought it was good that she said like, "Yo, I don't want to go to Oprah. I don't want to do anything of that." I think we're beyond that. Like, she's beyond that point of like, "Oh yeah, let's do a whole sit down interview and let's talk about it." Like, no, it's beyond that point now. Because another thing you got to think about, like, well, damn, where was those people to do interviews, or maybe they were denied? Like, you're kind of telling somebody your story, but yet were they there with you, supporting you? So I get why maybe she didn't want to do a sit down interview and stuff like that. Drea said they claimed she was so ill she needed this conservatorship, but she was still put out on state. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, remember they were saying like, Britney, she crazy, she cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, she can't do for herself and stuff like that. Well, somebody crazy, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and not able to do for themselves, why would you make them work? That is crazy. Now thinking about that. If she was really crazy, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and all that, why make her work? If she wasn't able to do for herself, why was she working? That's a good point. What's up, Carol? Thank you for coming. Anyone recognize pressured speech and more? Not too late for quality help. What do you mean by pressured speech? I've never heard that terminology. Like she was pressured into saying something? Her sister played a huge role in all of this. So many people from family, friends, ex-husband, ex-boyfriends involved in this huge corrupt. Right, right, right. Everybody played a part in this. Everybody did. If you wasn't there all like, yo, we need to get her up out of here, you didn't play. She said she had a friend. Now, she didn't mention who the friend was, but she had a friend that ended up getting her a lawyer and helping her out. And I was thinking, like, damn, all those Hollywood people didn't like say, like, hey, let me get you a lawyer or let me help you. Or maybe Britney didn't say anything to them. That's another thing. If you don't say anything, then I don't know to help you. Exactly. And working in humane and other right, right, right. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. And, I'm glad we were here. I wanted to all break that down and kind of go over that audio because when I heard it, I was like, damn, there's a lot that makes sense to me that she was saying. Like, this woman definitely seemed like she knew what was going on. And then there's a whole bunch of other puzzle pieces that aren't there. But for the most part, I do think they took advantage of this woman. Side eyeing the current husband. Oh, you side eyeing the current husband. Yeah, that's what I'm all like. Where was he? Like, because he's been there for a long time. I don't know exactly when they started dating, but he's been there for years. She was abused and they need to protect her. I think Paris helped her. She was allowed to see her once in a while. Oh, you think it was Paris Hilton that helped her? Huh. I know that Paris did go to her wedding. I do know that. Symptoms of legitimate mental illness, ex bipolar, fast talking, subject changes, pressured, talking like it's got to pour out. Oh, okay. That's what that means. Yes, I can definitely see that. Yeah. Okay, I didn't know that was a effect of mental illness. Um, I know she claimed to be an introvert and stuff like that, and she always just seems nervous, when she told her story. Because remember, she gave the judge like a testimony or whatever, and she was talking like really fast, and the judge was like, hold on, slow down." So I didn't know that was a part of mental illness too. Okay, agree, Drea. Something off about him. Now. Now her sons conveniently do not want to be in their mom's life. Yeah, and a lot of people were saying like they think that Kevin Federline has something to do with that, because he's saying, oh, they see their mom naked online and that's why they don't want a relationship. Then he released that audio, so we had that going on. Yeah, Drea, he came in the midst of it all too. Right, right, right. And if that was her support system, where was he? Like, and then that's another thing too. Why didn't he help get the lawyer? And you had to wait for a friend to get y'all, there's something going on with that Sam. That I think her husband name is Sam. There's something going on with him because she had to wait for a friend to get the money. Like, did he not have any money to like? I know he's like an actor or something like that. So he had to have a couple of dollars to help her out. Like, you don't need millions of dollars, but if he could have just got an outside source to help her, that would have been enough. Soon her sons will realize the money is their mom's and they will be moving back with their mom. That's a good thought. Definitely. Definitely some interesting perspectives. I like y'all thought process on this one. Definitely. All right, y'all, we're going to go ahead and end the show right there. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for enjoying the show. Hopefully, you guys were able to give your thoughts and opinions. Also, I want to say thank you to everybody again for getting me to 20K. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. And also hit the notification button because that's important as well. Deuces.